Welcome back, Thurfers. I have an interesting topic today, and it all sparked from a short I saw on YouTube featuring Nick Freitas and Michael Knowles. At first, I was like, awesome, a podcast with those two would be great. But the short turned quickly to satire, and I was kind of bummed out. Like, major missed opportunity. I'd love a podcast that's 3 hours with those two going back and forth. That would have been incredible. And then the short's undertone hit me like a ton of bricks. And that's what we're going to talk about today. So, let's get into it. So I'm going to play parts of this clip, and then we can talk about it.
Hello, Michael.
Freitas.
If you remember, there's a debt to be paid. You screwed up. You admitted before the game that you didn't even own a pistol.
You don't own a pistol?
I don't own a pistol. That's embarrassing.
And that's when I realized you needed the win a whole lot more than I did. Now I'll admit it, I considered being petty, getting something that your dainty little hands could hold. But then I realized, no, what you need is something that's going to bring in the Catholic warrior that we know is hiding beneath the surface. So behold, the finest smiths at Magnum Research came together in order to craft for you the excommunicator.
I thought it was just a myth.
The legends are true, Michael. They foretell of one who could wield the excommunicator to finally bring peace to the Holy Land.
And that's me.
Sure, we'll go with that. But first, you must undergo much training in order to be prepared.
You gotta stop tolerating heresies.
Yeah, this one's yours.
For Baldwin! You know what I think of Arianism? And Nestorianism? And Albigensianism? All the Gnostics!
You did look badass, though.
Thanks.
I was talking to the gun.
Okay, so there's a lot there. It's clearly satire, making fun of Michael for not owning a pistol. And then Nick gifts him one of the largest pistols ever, with massive recoil, a .50 caliber Desert Eagle. And the thing is Gucci'd out, no less. Looks like a Gucci Deagle crafted by Michelangelo that should be part of the Sistine Chapel. Okay, so enough about the gun. They said something in the clip that shook me. Nick said to Michael that this weapon would bring out the Catholic warrior that is hidden inside him, and that it would help him bring peace to the Holy Land. Like, okay, that sounds a lot like a blank. It sounds a lot like a crusade. And that's literally what it says in the video description. And now I'm like, whoa, okay, whoa there. He said it out loud. He said the quiet part out loud. Like, how freaking epic. We have Michael Knowles, one of the most intellectual and eloquent speaking, staunch Catholic conservatives ever, and Nick Freitas, an absolute unit who served our country, has a Green Beret and is a proud Christian. This is like a dream team for the Crusades. Nick Freitas, the brawn, and Michael, the brains. The perfect balance of positive masculinity, intellect, Christian foundation, and moral unity. Now, I don't think they're actually going to petition Pope Leo XIV to call for the 10th Crusade, specifically starting in California. However, this is massive, because for a while now, many of us have had this feeling like, okay, I'm tired of this crap. It's massive because it speaks to the undertone Christians have been feeling for so long, but we'd be persecuted for saying it out loud. So many things in society and the world are out of order and unaligned with Jesus Christ. I think Andrew Wilson sums this up pretty well.
what normally we keep. But you know what really drives a lot of attention and makes people flock to the church, especially the traditional churches? When a bunch of homosexuals are cruising down the street in assless chaps and big gay pride parades simulating sucking each other's dicks. I would say that socially, you guys have gone out of your fucking way to make it easy for us. You've gone out of your... Hang on. Gays have gone out of their way, right? The transing the kids, everything you could possibly do to make it easy for guys like me to come in and be like, no more of that shit. We're done with that shit. And for the rest of the country to be like, yep, you're right. We are done with that shit. Enough of that shit. Where the president of the United States actually has to give a presidential order saying there's only two genders, you guys overplayed your hand. And no, it ain't breaking up families. What's breaking up families is all the whining and crying that you can't be an assless chap simulating sex acts in the middle of the street. That's your social perversion. There's nothing wrong with us doing something about that.
Yeah, to say the least, right? It's crazy to think society has spiraled downward so fast in the last decade. Growing up, it was unheard of for people to walk down the street 90 to 95% naked. You'd get thrown in jail for public indecency and nobody would care. Like, good. Put them in jail. That's just insane that you're doing that. The culture used to be respectful. The reverence and respect, it's gone now. Done away with due to hedonism and idolization of oneself. Not many people hold the door open anymore, or let someone with a few grocery items go in front of you in line at the store. These kind and common courtesies are no longer common. Now, I'm not sure if it's just the parts of the internet that me and my friends are on, but I've seen a massive rise in Crusaide memes. And to be honest, I don't think it's due to people having religious intent to drive back the forces of evil and restore normalcy. I think it's simply the fact that the Crusaders are the icon of that feeling, essentially taking back what was taken from us because of how bad it's gotten. I think the majority of people who secretly want a crusade or inquisition just want things to return to normal, and they're not driven by the edicts of Jesus Christ. And that's dangerous, because without the Holy Spirit guiding whatever movement this is, it will fall flat and could do more harm to Christians than good. It has to be done the right way, which brings me to another point. Eric Prince, some of you may know him. He's the founder of Blackwater, a private military contractor who aided the US government in Iraq and Afghanistan, which has now changed names a couple times and is no longer Blackwater. But he now runs another private military contracting company and has proposed a plan to Pope Leo XIV to fund a mission to protect Christians in Nigeria.
In a provocative move that has ignited global debate, Eric Prince, the controversial founder of the private military contractor Blackwater, has publicly called on Pope Leo XIV to finance a private army to protect Nigeria's Christian population from escalating Islamic violence.
I talked about this briefly in my last video, but for those of you that don't know, and not because you don't care, but because it rarely gets covered by the media, which is intentional, of course. We hear about genocides all the time, but they don't want to cover this one for some reason. There's currently a genocide happening in Nigeria, where Islamist groups are genociding Christians. The corrupted Nigerian government denies these claims, yet President Trump and several members of Congress have called this out for its blatant lies. The genocide has ramped up since 2023. It's been going on since approximately 2009, and this has sparked greater calls for intervention. It's certainly not the first time Christians from all backgrounds and ethnicities have come together to defend each other. This would be the 10th official time if the Pope decides to provide support, which, in many of our hearts and minds, we know he should. You know, it's so weird. I feel like this is such a unique time in history where we're faced with a choice. We've seen the Islamization of Europe and Africa and the absolute horrors that it can bring. And yet, there hasn't been enough pushback to change anything. Now, obviously, we've seen things what Tommy Robinson's done in in the UK, and that's absolutely amazing. But the problem with all of these is that it doesn't seem to actually get anything done. There's no tangible benefit because things stay the same. Even though you're protesting, things don't change. It gets even more interesting when we see young men across the world flocking to traditional Christianity, like Catholicism and the Orthodox Church, at rates far surpassing previous generations. It's like God is setting the stage for something. He's getting the pieces ready. You see, the strongholds of evil don't realize that the more they push, the stronger the urge many people get to push back. The oppression can only go on for so long before it explodes. So if God really is setting the stage for something, what are you going to do? I think we need to look at Jesus as an example, and we need to ask the Lord for discernment. Now, we have pretty decent role models already in Nick Freitas and Michael Knowles. The yin and yang of those two is what we should seek to accomplish within ourselves. We should have the intellect of Knowles and the steadfast protective nature of Freitas. Essentially, an intellectual warrior. So, let me just rapid fire break down this for a couple of you guys. So, we should be working out, we should stay in a fit physical condition, practice being a better person in our lives. We should be slow to anger, we should be rich in kindness, stand up for your beliefs, do not lie, be respectful, speak slowly and calmly, help others, show people Jesus is real through your actions. Now, to wrap it all up, it appears that God's setting the stage and is calling his people. He's clearly setting the stage with all that's going wrong in the world and calling so many young men back to the church, or for the first time, he's setting the stage for something. We know for a fact that we're already in a spiritual war, so it's not far-fetched to think a physical one might start up. I think we need to be ready if Jesus is calling us. Get fit, be a warrior in a garden until it's time to go to war. I'm not calling for war. I don't want war. I want peace. But we need to be ready just in case it happens. Remember, Jesus really does love you, and no one's unredeemable. May the peace of the Lord be with you always, and I'll see you in the next video.